Song Young-kyu's sudden passing has left the K-drama industry in mourning, with actors and fans alike stunned by the news. But behind his heartbreaking choice to end his life was a story filled with struggles, and it seems the past few months had been especially overwhelming for him. Song Young-kyu, born on April 18, 1970 in South Korea, spent years shaping himself into one of the most dependable actors of his generation. After earning a degree in theater from Seoul Arts College, he stepped into the entertainment world in 1994, starting with a children's musical inspired by the animated series Taoist Motol. His early years were dedicated to the stage, where he performed in big-name productions like Les Miserables, On Jung-geun, and Jekyll and Hyde, developing a reputation for his commanding stage presence and versatility. By 2002, he had made his film debut in Turn It Up and soon transitioned to television, landing his first drama role in Mary Mary in 2007. Over the next 3 decades, Young-kyu steadily built an extensive portfolio of more than 50 dramas and movies, showcasing his range in everything from intense thrillers like A Hard Day to lighthearted hits like Extreme Job. His performance in Extreme Job, one of Korea's highest-grossing films, became a career-defining moment, proving his talent for delivering gritty, grounded characters with a touch of dry humor. But his contributions went beyond acting. Alongside his on-screen work, he also shared his knowledge as a special professor in the Department of Acting Arts at Simyeong University, helping guide the next generation of performers. Through decades of work on stage, television, and film, Young-kyu's career reflected his dedication, skill, and willingness to take on every opportunity to grow, both as an actor and a mentor. Although Young-kyu had a long and respected career, much of his personal life remained out of the public eye. He was married and had 2 daughters, but even his relationship carried a story of its own. His romance with his wife stretched across 17 years, with 9 years spent dating and another 8 battling strong opposition from their families. During a time when he was struggling financially and considering studying abroad in Japan, everything changed after his girlfriend told him firmly that she intended to marry him then and there. He chose to stay, committing himself fully to her and their future together. Behind this picture of love and perseverance, though, his life was layered with challenges. On the day the tail wagged the tail, he shared that he had 2 fathers, his biological father, who had passed away, and a stepfather who raised him. His stepfather had endured brutal experiences, having been forcibly taken for labor during the Japanese occupation and facing relentless discrimination throughout his life. These hardships shaped much of Young-kyu's upbringing. His career was also far from easy. Before gaining recognition, he spent years working part-time jobs just to get by, only able to quit them after appearing in the drama The Chaser. Even when acting roles began coming in, they were often limited to certain character types, particularly legal and medical professionals like prosecutors, lawyers, judicial trainees, and forensic specialists. Despite these constraints, he persisted, carving out his place in the industry through sheer determination. But just as things seemed stable, everything changed in June of this year, when Young-kyu became involved in a drunk driving incident, a moment that cast a heavy shadow over his otherwise steady career. On June 19th, Young-kyu was stopped in Yongin for driving under the influence. According to the police report, he had been out drinking with acquaintances in the Gihong area and decided to drive himself home despite being intoxicated. He managed to travel nearly 5 kilometers before being caught, with his blood alcohol level testing at over 0.08%, well above the threshold for license revocation under Korean law. The case began when a witness reported suspicious driving, prompting police to track down his vehicle and confirm his condition on the spot, which ultimately led to his license being canceled. Interestingly, the public didn't learn about the incident until a month later, when it came to light that Young-kyu had been continuing with his projects as if nothing had happened. At the time, he was appearing in the K-drama The Defects as Pastor Yoon Se-hoon and had also been cast as rugby coach Kim Min-jung in SBS's The Winning Try. On top of that, his schedule included a major stage role in Shakespeare in Love at the Seoul Arts Center, with the production set to run until September 14th. All of these commitments meant that his personal scandal and professional obligations were colliding, making the timing of the news especially striking. Although Young-kyu wasn't detained, his drunk driving case still went to prosecution, and the damage to his career was devastating. He withdrew from the stage production of Shakespeare in Love and saw his roles in both dramas he was working on either removed or drastically cut back, a blow that also weighed heavily on his family. but as reports later revealed, his troubles had begun long before the DUI incident. An acquaintance shared that he had been under immense stress, juggling both personal and professional challenges. While he continued to pursue acting, his wife managed a cafe to help support the family, but the worsening economy caused their business to suffer serious losses. At the same time, Young-kyu was receiving fewer roles, further deepening the pressure on their household. These struggles reportedly strained his marriage to the point where the couple began living apart. His wife stayed with their 2 daughters while Young-kyu moved into a small office tel in Bundang, isolating himself as he tried to cope with everything spiraling around him. An acquaintance told the media he was still acting, trying to move forward, but the drinking incident seemed to crush his remaining hope. In his final months, Young-kyu was reportedly overwhelmed by loneliness, and those close to him said he had begun drinking more often to numb the emotional weight he was carrying. Sadly, things ended in tragedy. On the morning of August 4th, he was found deceased inside a parked car in a residential complex in Cho-in-gu, Yongin. The discovery was made around 8 a.m. by an acquaintance who immediately alerted authorities. Officials from the Yongin-dongbu police station confirmed that there were no signs of foul play and no note was found at the scene. While the exact cause of his passing remains under investigation, they are speaking with his family and considering an autopsy to understand more about what happened in the days leading up to his passing. Though nothing has been officially confirmed, those close to him believe he may have taken his own life. What's most heartbreaking is that behind the titles, roles, and public image, Young-kyu had been quietly suffering, isolated, overwhelmed, and carrying a weight no one fully realized until it was too late. The Associate told Ilgan Sports he was deeply distressed by malicious articles and online comments. The overall situation and his surrounding conditions had become very difficult. The news of Young-kyu's passing sent shockwaves through the K-drama industry, leaving both fans and fellow actors heartbroken. Many expressed their grief online, with one user writing, "Oh my, I love his acting, and he had back-to-back projects and some were popular too." Another one commented, "Rest in peace, it's such a tragedy for his family and friends. Also hope the people who harassed him to this point would face consequences in the future, no matter in which form." The overall feeling among fans is clear. While drunk driving is undeniably wrong and deserves criticism, no one should be pushed to the point where they feel that ending their life is the only way out. His passing has sparked conversations about the fine line between holding someone accountable and crossing into relentless harassment, with many hoping his story serves as a reminder of the damage that kind of pressure can cause. A memorial for Young-kyu has been arranged at the Daebos Hospital Funeral Home in Yongin, where his wife and 2 daughters are listed as the bereaved family. His portrait, showing him with a soft, warm smile, has only deepened the grief of those who came to pay their respects. Many of his colleagues, including Jo Woo-jin, Choi Won-young, Lee Gyo-young, and DJ Doc's Kim Chang-yeol, left heartfelt messages in the obituary expressing their wishes for his peaceful rest. Representatives from his management and film production companies also shared their condolences, joining the industry in mourning his loss. The 2 dramas he had been working on before his passing, The Winning Try and The Defects, also released statements in response to the news. The Winning Try offered their condolences to Young-kyu's family, wishing him peace, and explained that while the drama was pre-produced, they would make only minimal edits to the later episodes, so the story's flow remains intact. The team behind The Defects echoed similar sentiments, expressing their deepest sympathies and sharing that since the series had already been fully edited, it would air as originally planned. Even with the criticism surrounding his DUI case, those who knew Young-kyu personally continue to remember him as a kind, selfless, and gifted man. The acquaintance who spoke about his final months admitted that while drunk driving is undeniably serious, Young-kyu's talent and gentle nature made his passing all the more painful, saying that if circumstances had been even slightly different, he might still be alive today. His actions throughout his life reflected that same devotion. To provide for his family, he once chose the stability of working with the Seoul City Song and Dance Troupe over chasing stardom. He also made enormous personal sacrifices for his daughter's futures, even giving up the spacious apartment they had lived in for 11 years to move into a modest semi-basement home so they could afford their education. One of his daughters was studying in the US, while the younger one was pursuing musical theater, and Young-kyu prioritized their dreams above his own comfort. His wife echoed this commitment, sharing that they willingly traded a comfortable life for the chance to support their children's goals, admitting that while it wasn't an easy decision, she remains grateful for the path they chose together. Through all of these choices, Young-kyu's love for his family was clear, showing that behind his career and public image was a man who gave everything he could to the people who mattered most to him. As South Korea mourns his loss, Young-kyu's story stands as more than just that of an actor, as it reflects the quiet strength of a father who sacrificed endlessly for his family while enduring battles few ever saw. He wasn't only the characters brought to life on stage and screen, he was a man who gave everything he had even when life kept pushing back. Rest in peace, Young-kyu. He will be remembered not just for unforgettable performances, but for the resilience, love, and humanity carried through every chapter of his life.